like we were talking about earlier, I don't know anything really about the St. Louis Mothers Group. I know that it's mothers, and you guys meet. And my wife has loosely joined the Mothers Group at our home parish, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. So just very generally, what is the St. Louis Mothers Group?
So it's basically a community of moms at St. Louis. Most of us have young kids, but we've had a range of moms with children of different ages. Sometimes we have grandmothers that join us with their grandkids that they babysit. But the point is really moms need community, they need friends, they need support, especially when they're home with their kids all day, and oftentimes dad's at work, and the one-on-one time with kids, sometimes you need some adult time too. And the Mothers Group started 25 years ago when I was a new mom, a young mom, and I moved here from Maryland right after I got married, had a baby within a year, didn't really know anyone who was in that place, in that stage in life, and fairly quickly met a couple of other young moms here at St. Louis. We started taking walks together and spending time. And one of them said to me at one point, wouldn't it be great if we had a Mothers Group at St. Louis? And I thought, yes, that would be awesome. But it was something that I don't think I would have been brave enough to try and do by myself, because I had a friend who was on board. We kind of went at it together. So this was my friend Angie Weber, and the two of us started brainstorming, talking about what could we do, what the format could be. Came together, met a few times, wrote up a proposal that we sent to our pastor at the time, who was Father Riley. He was very supportive of the idea. The goal was really to just create community here at St. Louis. It's kind of a big parish. There's a lot of transient people because of the military, and so sometimes people are in and out and don't necessarily know people, and we just wanted to have friends in the same place at our parish that we could kind of walk that walk with. And so when we started, it was Wednesday. We've always done Wednesday mornings. It began twice a month. We would do second and fourth Wednesdays. And at the time I thought, we need to have speakers come and, learn, like we need to have something to give, to offer to these moms in terms of education or learning more about motherhood or something like that. So I was trying to line up speakers. Fairly quickly, Angie said, it'd be great if we could meet on the off weeks just for a play group, just for some time together without anything formal. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I think that's a great idea. It gives a lot of continuity. I was a little overwhelmed at the idea of running 4 weeks of meetings. So I said, you take care of the playgroup part. I'll take care of the bringing in speakers the other weeks. And fairly quickly that morphed into, we just want to be together. And so at a certain point, I realized, okay, I'm running out of people to invite to come speak for this Mothers Group. But some of the moms said, we really don't need to have speakers. We kind of have a lot of wisdom to share and knowledge to share among ourselves. So why don't we just brainstorm, come up with topics that people want to talk about, and let's just get together and share those things ourselves. And so that was probably a year in or so. And from then on, we kind of added into our schedule, maybe quarterly or semesterly, we would have a brainstorming session, and we would just talk about what are topics that we want to address? What are things that we want to learn about? What are areas that somebody has some expertise in that they want to share, or that they don't have expertise on and would love to learn from someone else? And so I feel like at that point, there was really a lot of moms taking ownership, which was great. And it kind of became a self-running group in a sense, where it wasn't all on me, but it was really on all of us. But I think the important thing is that we created this community that wasn't here before. And so we knew people that we saw, like people from Mothers Group, we would see at Mass. Our kids would have friends from the Mothers Group that they would run into and play with after Mass. And so it just really became more of a home to us at St. Louis after that started.
Wow.
I don't know if you have more to say, Katie.
Yeah, so I have been part of the Mothers Group for 6 years now. So it's been going for 25 years, which is amazing. I joined when my oldest was 2 months old. And so I think one of the things that I just really appreciated about the Mothers Group was that consistency, that it's like every single Wednesday. I think going from working, I had been teaching full-time beforehand, and then to staying home. And again, like I had just moved here, I didn't know anybody, was that when you work, you see the same people every day. They check in. They want to know they want to know what happened on your weekend, and they want to know, they see you progress. And it kind of felt like when you're at home, you wouldn't have somebody to check in with every single week to like, hey, now my baby's crawling. Now, what are they doing every single week? Like you have family and people that you see, but it's something about meeting every single week at that time. Like you really get to watch your friends' kids grow up, and that was just something that was really very clearly a need that.
Yeah.
I started coming when he was 2 months, so I didn't have
know.
that long
Good
without
for
it.
you.
But I was very clearly that like I just really wanted to share that with other people. Share that the joy of like my baby just tried his first new food, and without the mothers group, it would have been very hard to find that. So that was when I joined, and then I was just hooked. I was like, yes, like we're gonna make time for this every single week because it's something that we need, and I want to be a part of that community, like in our parish, and keeping that going in our parish.
What's funny is it's called Mother's Group, but I don't think your kids have a big idea of what you go through as a mom. And I say that because I had no idea what my mom went through. But now being married and hearing your side of the story, I totally see it. My wife went through a lot of the same things, if not all of the same things. But you said the goal was to build a community. And that's a big deal because you're at home. It's going from 0 kids to having kids is a huge change.
Yeah.
But then also in that transition period, you may have friends who don't have kids yet.
Right.
So like you said, having a group that you can share milestones with.
Yes.
It's a big deal because you can't really tell that to your friends that don't have kids because they don't have any context.
Right.
And they might be happy for you, but they don't get it, and that's not their fault. They're just not in that same stage as you. So not that I know any of this personally, I'm hearing this from my wife. So that's really great. The community aspect is huge. And I come home sometimes and she tells me, you're the only adult that I've talked to today.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like I'm not the only husband who also doesn't have a lot of context for that. But the times that I have had to stay home with the kids, it's very eye-opening, like, oh man, she does this every day. Mm-hmm. And you may catch snapshots like, oh, maybe that wasn't too bad. But she also made a point, my wife, that it's 24/7. It's a job you can't really clock out of.
Right.
So to have that community, to have those mothers in your neighborhood, they're close by your parish. I'm assuming you live within like 15, 20 minutes of here. So that's great. And like you said, you see them with regularity. They're going to see your progress because you're going to meet, you're going to talk. And Teresa, I was actually getting a little anxious for you having to book speakers because I've had to find acts or people to come in and it can be a lot.
Yeah.
On top of just raising your kids.
Right.
And it's not just watching your kids either, right? It's like, okay, well, you used to do laundry just for yourself and now you do laundry for multiple bodies, and those things add up.
Right.
So I think it's really great. I think it's fantastic that you started this mothers group here. Back when I was running the cafe, I really liked seeing you guys in the courtyard, just running around. So that sounds really, really great, and I'm really glad that you started it and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
But apart from meeting, I know you guys meet here on campus, various locations. Do you guys ever go off-site?
Yes, we actually do a lot of excursions in the summertime because a lot of our moms have kids who are in school during the school year, but home during the summer, and they still want to keep meeting. And we have twice as many kids, and so we can only fit so many people in the youth activities room. That gets kind of crowded, but also because it's just fun to go different places. So we try and do a lot of park days in the summer. Occasionally we'll do something like the zoo or something like that, but we have some regular excursions that are kind of on the annual plan. Like we always go to Knoll's Produce in October and do the pumpkin patch there with the kids, let them climb over the pumpkins, buy some produce. We always go to the Franciscan monastery in May and do a rosary pilgrimage together and a picnic. So there's places that are kind of like on the rotation, and then there's new places that are just, parks that somebody suggested that they went to, and we're trying something else new, something new out. But we definitely like to do excursions, especially when the weather is nice. And I will say, outside of our meetings, the other thing that is really beautiful is just like, because we're building community, we're able to do things like babysit each other's children when someone has a doctor's appointment, or bring meals to new moms, so we do that, especially with the moms that come to the mothers group. And whenever there's a baby, somebody sets up a meal sign up and we help out with meals. But even some of the moms that aren't yet part of the mothers group, when we see a pregnant mom, say, do you need meals after the baby? Because sometimes that can be huge, just that kind of extra support and help when you're in need. We also share prayer intentions via email on our Facebook page. We now have a website, so we're able to share prayer intentions on the website as well. And that's just kind of one more way to really be there for each other.
Yeah. Do you guys, I'm assuming you carpool.
Or
do you have a bus for the field trips?
For the field trips, we generally meet there. Occasionally, we will meet here and caravan over, depending on where we're going. Like when we're going into DC, sometimes 2 or 3 families will meet up, but a lot of us have more than a couple of kids, and so sometimes we can't fit another family in our car.
Especially with car seats.
Yeah, so it's usually meeting at the site wherever we're going.
Gotcha.
Although I will say, for like those big excursions, like I never ever would have taken my kids, my toddlers, downtown alone, but they love the Franciscan monastery. They love our pilgrimage there in the spring. And the first few times that I went in Teresa's car, and she was so open to like carpooling that I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is great. And
it's actually more fun for all of us when we carpool, because we get more time together. So
we get to chat in the front. The kids are happy in the back. And so that was just like another bonus of mom's group that I got to kind of learn how to do these things, and gives you the confidence to go do that.
Yeah. Because I just had a thought, right? Back when you were talking about maybe your coworkers seeing your progress, it might not be always good news each week, right? You might be like, oh, I'm actually having a really hard time with this. And then someone else chimes in and they're like, oh, yeah, me too. You're not alone. And you're like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that helps. But so we meet here. We go on trips. Anything else that we may not, I say we, but like non-mothers might not know about?
Yeah, so one of the things that I guess is the challenge of the mothers group is that we know there are plenty of moms in the parish who aren't free on Wednesday mornings because they're working or because of their kids' school schedules. And we don't want anybody to not be able to be part of the mothers group. So in past, depending on the time, we've had people organize like a weekend get together or an evening outing that we can meet up for that would allow those who are like working or just have difficult day schedules to meet up. It's kind of dependent on who's willing to organize those kind of things. It's very much like, anybody want to take the lead on that?
Yeah.
But just in the last year and a half or so, we also started a group called Canavox, which is, it's a national group that we just kind of began our own chapter of, I guess you could say, in the mothers group. And we have 2 sort of simultaneous groups going. One that is part of our Wednesday morning sessions once a month at the end of the month. And the other one is a Thursday evening session to allow for people who can't do the daytime or just find it easier to go when they don't have their kids in tow or whatever. So that's once a month on Thursday evenings, and we meet at somebody's house. And that's been really nice for some of the moms who can't make it on Wednesdays but really want to be part of that community. And Canavox is really all about talking about issues about marriage and family from a perspective of, what we know about natural law and the truth and, kind of knowing what we know and believe as Catholics, but being able to talk about it with anyone. So we read articles and discuss together and, just kind of work through all the issues that we're dealing with in the world today that sometimes are hard to talk about because we're not all on the same page. But in this group, we are all on the same page. And so we can kind of talk about it and just get more comfortable having those discussions with anyone.
Do you ever have, let's say, one of the moms in the mothers group has a friend who's also a mom, but not a parishioner of St. Louis, maybe not even Catholic, but they see that they may need some support. Do you ever have them, like, bring a friend type of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. And we have a couple moms who have joined us who were not yet Catholic and have come into the church, which has been really fun to watch them go on that journey. We're kind of by their sides as they do that. We have one mom who comes occasionally who's Byzantine Catholic, I believe. So some others that are Catholic but not Roman Rite. And we have at times also had other women who are not Catholic but are Protestant Christians. And I feel like we're very unabashedly Catholic, but I don't think we would make anyone uncomfortable, with, I mean, I think people understand, like, this is where we're coming from, but welcome, we all believe in the same God and the same Jesus Christ, and we can find a place to meet on that, so.
What's really cool is Mother's Group. I saw this in the cafe. I kind of think of them as like landing spots where they're like church adjacent.
Yeah.
So you can enter these communities without having to go to mass,
Right.
which maybe for someone could be intimidating. But in Mother's Group, they're getting that community, that support. I saw it in the cafe too. Like I had a parent of a volunteer come in. They weren't really practicing their faith, and didn't want to come to mass just yet, but would come to the cafe. So it's like an apostolate in the sense that, yes, they know you're Catholic, but they probably know that you're not going to force it on them.
Right.
But then their experience of Catholics is, oh, I have this team, I have this support, I have this community. And then they're much more likely to come into the church through that.
Right.
Versus, hey, I think you should go to church. I think you're a pretty big sinner. Like,
Right.
So that's really, really great.
And I think when we're out and about too, just seeing lots of moms with their children joyfully, like at the park, the kids are all having a bunch of fun. The moms get to chat with each other. I know, like when we're out at a park outing, we end up talking with moms who are not part of the group because they sense that, moms are getting together, they're chatting, the kids are having fun. And so maybe that kickstarts something in them that, like, I need more community, or, also that, like, big families and big communities are beautiful and there's joy in it. And I think that's a good witness to others.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Especially because I think a lot of moms are kind of doing it alone.
Yeah.
This area, too, like you said, very transient. People moving here, so their families oftentimes in other states.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever go out, just the moms, leave the kids at home?
Occasionally. Yes.
You have to. Like,
yeah, we do. Yeah. It's a treat when we can. That's a lovely thing to do that. Yeah, we went. Did you come to the Jen Fulweiler
I did.
thing? Yeah,
yes,
so we went to.
Great.
So Jen Fulweiler is a Catholic comedian, speaker, podcaster, and she was in DC. I guess was it a year and a half ago? 2 years
at
ago,
least, yeah.
And so a group of us went out for that. It was just a really fun evening outing to do together. So yeah, or sometimes we'll meet up at a restaurant and just like have dessert together or something like that.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah,
and I would say since like I said, my family's not around here, and a lot of us are transplants, and that you won't really have a reason to, like, get out of your house because you have to put the kids down, and then they need you and they wake up. So, like, without a really good reason, you're just I know for me at least 2 years where I just, like, really hadn't left the house after bedtime. And so there have been some events where, like, it really gives me that motivation to be like, well, I do want to go have fun with my friends. And it is, like, really brings a lot of like joy, and when you have joy, you can give the joy back to your kids, but you need to have something to do. Like, it's like hard to do that alone. And so like Jen Fulweiler or like the Evening Cana Vox, like these things that are kind of not the Wednesday Mothers Group, but are products of it, are also so good for the mothers. And that was one thing I was also going to say about, like, having speakers come in, and that I love that our Mothers Group caters to the mothers as individuals and, like, our personal growth, as well as, like, getting the kids together and supporting the family, like all of those, like having the Wednesdays, having the other meetings, like, and the reasons to get out together, all really help that. So,
Agreed.
So 25 years, huh?
Yes. Big deal.
That's a big deal.
I thought it was a big deal. I was pretty excited.
Yeah. Because you were there year one, yeah?
I was there day one.
I'm sure you've seen lots of variations, or maybe people that have been here for a majority of it. Like, I'm sure you've seen everything.
Yeah.
So how's it feel?
I'm thrilled. I'm really excited that this is still going, and not only still going, but still vibrant. I will say we've had a couple moments in our history where it felt like we were kind of on a lull, where there just weren't as many people coming around to meetings on a regular basis. We'd have a small group, not a big group. And sometimes I'd wonder, do people really want this? Do we still need this? And I've always come to the conclusion that yes, there's some people that still want this. And even if we only had 4 or 5 people coming to meetings on a regular basis, it was still those 4 or 5 people really needed it and really wanted it. And so there was a reason to keep going. And I will say I've been super excited and inspired by all the new young moms that have been coming in the last year or two. We've had a lot of moms come with just a baby or just a baby and a toddler. We've also had a lot of moms who are moving here from out of town and find us right away. Sometimes I introduce myself to people after Mass, but frequently people will send me an email or give me a phone call and say, I heard you have a mother's group. Tell me about it. I want to join. And I think that's wonderful because I think we do have to seek out community. It's in the bulletin every week, which I'm really grateful for. Katie, I can thank for that. She's awesome at getting the bulletin announcements in on time. But I want people to just feel free to show up. And I love that we still have this great group of moms. It's not the same moms that were there 25 years ago or 20 years ago, but some of those moms that were there at the beginning are still coming back occasionally, which is really fun for special topics or whatever. And we have one family that is like the second generation mothers group because so Claire Chapman was one of our kind of early members, and her son Louis now has 3 little kids going on 4, and his wife comes with their kids, and it's just so fun to see that they found that same community. So we had a big celebration last weekend, which was amazing. I was thrilled to have some of our old timers come back. So we had some friends that came from Alabama, from Indiana, from New York, some that have just kind of moved a little further west to the Nokesville, Manassas area that came back out. And it was just wonderful to see people come together again and kind of pick up where we left off. Some of these ladies I hadn't seen in 15 years or more. And it was just like, we're still close, really great family. And then all the younger families that were there too. So it was tons of kids, which was great. I'm always comfortable with just like, yes, there are probably twice as many kids as there are adults in this room. And it's awesome. So we had an awesome celebration. Father said a wonderful Mass. Father Harris said Mass for us at 4 p.m. The homily was beautiful. It was like just right, talking about kind of the sisterhood of moms and what we need and what we're giving each other. And really that we have a vocation as moms, and that's what we're all living, and that's what we're all supporting each other through. So I was really, really happy to have this celebration with everybody. And then we kind of continued it on Sunday morning with coffee and donuts and invited some other moms that haven't been part of the Mothers Group, but I just saw after Mass, come on over, see what we are, have some donuts. And it was great because I did meet some new families that I hadn't met before. So I see it, continuing hopefully indefinitely, even when I don't have little kids anymore. I'm hoping that someone else will take the reins because I think this is always a need. And I think at a parish like ours with so many military families, even more, because there's always going to be families coming in just that, have to start over again. And it's so helpful to have a place for them to go and find their people right away.
Wow.
So I don't know what you have to say about the party. Did you enjoy the celebration?
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed being a part of the planning process because it's not something that I've really experienced, like throwing something big like that,
awesome.
At least not like on our own, like maybe through our wedding, but you have help. And so I really appreciated getting to see the process of like how to really celebrate something that is like monumental. It's like something really beautiful for the parish that has so many people that we've served and helped. And so I love that we had a big celebration for the mothers. I love that on Sunday we got to do outreach.
Right.
And I guess part of it, so we live 5 blocks away. So we live very close to me and my family. And so we love to do as much as we can at St. Louis. And we would love to just continue having that vibrant community and finding the ways to build that up. And so it was great. And I'm excited for many more years of Mothers Group.
Me too.
It's like you have alumni now.
I know.
But you can't, like, that word maybe doesn't come to mind immediately because you don't, like, ever graduate, right?
Right.
But intergenerational, 2.5 decades, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Teresa, Katie, thank you both very much. And thank you for all the work you've done with St. Louis Mothers Group.
Thanks for having us. That
Yes,
was really
thank you.
fun.
Yep, no problem.